Hello, happy Wednesday. Yeah, today is Wednesday, right? So happy Wednesday. Today we're going to talk about what software developers should not focus on when they're making career moves, when they're trying to land better opportunities, when they're trying when they're really trying to make those career moves. So that's what we're talking about today. So always, as you're joining my live stream, say hello, tell me where you're watching me from, network and connect with one another. So because I really want my platform to be a place where other professionals can find opportunities, can find new connections, and more importantly, you never know who is watching, and you never know who might be your next connection that will give you those opportunities that you're looking for. So today we're like, here's the thing. When it comes to like making career moves, when it comes to um, uh, making the next step, right? There are a lot of distractions. There are a lot of distractions that I see in the industry right now, and I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about what you should not focus on when you are making career moves, when you are trying to land higher paying jobs and higher paying contracts, right? Next week, though, I'm going to talk about what to focus on the top three secrets. But today, we're going to talk about distractions because it is only as important to be aware what we should not do, what we shouldn't be focused on, as much as what we should focus on. So, number one is going to be a little bit controversial. Number one is going to be a little bit more, a little bit controversial. Number one is link code challenges. And hear me out. Algorithms and data structures. Algorithms and data structures are very important skill set to have as a software developer. As a software developer, right? Algorithms and data structures is something that you're going to use all the time, all the time. But when it comes to leak code questions, right? I'm not saying that don't do leak code challenges, don't practice algorithms and data structures. This is not what I'm saying. But a lot of software developers, when we're trying to make career moves, when we're looking for a job, we're trying to practice leak code questions and we're trying to memorize the solution for coding questions. It doesn't really serve as much as like as it seems to, right? Why why is that? Because here's the thing. Chances are that you're gonna get the same algorithm, the same coding question that you were trying to memorize, not very likely, right? And there are classic algorithms, there are classic coding challenges, there are classic things that a lot of people ask during interviews, right? Like such as valid parentheses, right? Or balanced parentheses, balanced strings. So when you validate that parentheses are matching, um, I don't know, linked lists, like regards to linked lists, stuff like that. They're famous algorithms that company are asking for. But um, you may or may not be asked, you may or may not be asked to solve that problem, right? And instead of focusing on the solution, right, memorizing the solution, you should learn and you should really get comfortable thinking in terms of like solving a problem, right? And when you're thinking how to solve a problem, right? When you're thinking in terms algorithms and data structures and how it can be translated in code, then coding, right? Coding your solution is not like not then, right? And also a lot of software developers, right? When it comes to like really technical nitty-gritty details, they jump into code implementation, solution implementation, instead of asking the right questions. Asking the right questions. Because asking the
right when
right
it
asking the right questions is just as important as providing you the right solution. Because when you are asking the right questions, right? When you are asking the right questions, and it- those answers, right? They're leading you to like success. They're leading you to the right solution. And this is something that in my program I'm focusing on, right? I don't necessarily teach algorithms and data structures like how to practice leak code questions, but what my purpose in my program with my clients is to teach people how to think. Because if you know how to think, and it's not just the skill set that um, helps you to solve a coding question. This is your professional skill. This is your professional skill. This is your professional skill. How to think is important. By the way, if you're joining my live stream, I encourage everyone to say hello, tell me where you're watching me from, and network with one another, because this is how we network. With this, how we network. I also encourage everyone to react if you're a little bit more shy, and check the reactions right after the live stream. Um, Go back and see who reacted on the live stream, because you can find connections from those reactions, right? You can connect with people and you can actually start a conversation. Hey, I see that live stream, like you like that live stream in particular resonated with you. So tell me where you're watching me from, drop hello in the comments, and especially if it is the first time we are connecting, if it is the first time you are on my live stream, drop one in the comment, and I would like to reach you, and I would like to send you a special welcome from me personally, because I'm very proud and honored to have new people on my show, on my live stream. So how to think, like it is like for software, like if you think about it, right? If you think about it, when it comes to challenges, right? Like coding challenges, it is not as different as you are solving a problem like during your work, right? Like at your job. Oh, hello, and there's a link in user. There's a link in user who dropped one. So I will go back and greet. Oh, all right. Hello. I see you. I see you. I see you. Good morning from Denver. Good morning. Good morning. Also, if you've been on my live streams for like a while, drop OG, because like I like to celebrate my OGs as well. So like if you're new to my channel, if you're new to my live streams, drop one. So I would like to give you a special welcome, and if you are OG, drop OG in the chat. So learning how to think, right? Because uh, a lot of software developers, myself included, why I'm talking about it, because that was my problem, right? When I was presented with a like coding challenge, right? 80 coding challenge, I like first of all, I didn't ask questions, right? You have to ask questions, because asking the right questions, it is a 50% of your solution, right? Asking the right questions, if it is a 50% of your solution. And also this is your communication skills, right? Because when companies give you algorithms and data structures, yes, they are accessing your technical skills, but also they're assessing your communication skills, right? How you communicate, how you solve a problem, and more importantly, how you think. How you think. This is what I'm focusing on, because no matter if it is like take home project, no matter if it is like algorithm or like coding challenge, because coding challenges they can differ. It can be like a leak code style question, or it can be just a logical coding question that you won't necessarily find on LeetCode, right? And this is why I'm focused on how to think, how to ask the right question, and how to break it down. Because here's the thing: no matter if you are building the website, if you're building the mobile app, if you are building the product, or you are solving a coding challenge, right? You can do it just in one go. You have to break it down in small pieces, and for in order to break it down in small pieces, you need to think. Um, you need to think as a problem solver. You need to think as a developer, and of course, like fundamentals are important. So, uh, back to leak code questions, right? Going to leak code and just practice the questions and then memorize the solution, or store them somewhere. Like you can store your solution somewhere absolutely for further references, but focus on how to think versus how to how like versus the solution itself. Another thing that you should not be focusing on, you shouldn't be focusing on when you're making career moves, when you're making transitions, when you are looking for new contracts, is what you don't know. On your shortcomings, you should not focus on your shortcomings. You should not focus on what you don't know. It's important to be aware what you don't know. It's important to be aware and what you don't know, and it's important to be aware of your gaps, right? Of your skill gaps, knowledge gaps, so you can learn it. You can close that gap. But when we're thinking about career moves, right? When we're thinking about career moves, we're so often think what we're lacking instead of what we have, because this is something that I see in my clients as well. Um, a lot of the times when I talk to software developers, they do have the knowledge, or they do have a really strong potential to like get to their goals, but they're so focusing on what they don't know, where they're not yet, what they're lacking. And when we start focusing what we're lacking, when we start focusing like when we're start focusing on our imperfections, here's where our imposter syndrome kicks in. Because here's the thing: software development is such a field where a lot of professionals are going through imposter syndrome. No matter how senior you are, I go time to time through the imposter syndrome, and it's something that I was battling for a while. A lot of my clients go through the same thing. And when we start focusing like, but I don't know this, I don't know that, we start to forget, and our vision starts getting blurry, and like we don't see what we have, and we stop marketing ourselves as um, as professionals as we truly are. So it is important to focus on our strong sides, on our strong skills, what we do have, or where we're striving to be. Because let me tell you something: all of the jobs that I had, right? All of the jobs that I had, I never really met qualifications like 100%. There was always room for improvement. There was always room to do better, to know more. There was always room for more. And if I would focus on what I'm lacking, I would never gotten those jobs that I did. I would never gotten the jobs that I did. That is important aspect as well. So another thing that you should not be focusing on, you should not be focusing on that technology that either dying, or the technology that either like become obsolete, or the technology that is not, doesn't inspire you anymore. Let me explain. So when we're thinking about career moves, right? When we're thinking about career moves, like what is important? Like our technical skills are important, our technology, our niche is important, and our interest is important. What do we actually want to work on? What technology we want to work with? Like that, this is your inner alignment, right? This is important. So in a lot of like what I see in the industry, a lot of developers start chasing shiny objects, start chasing like different technologies. They may not even like the technology, may not even resonate with them, right? But they start chasing those technologies. Another thing, right? You should be evaluating your career probably every like 3 to 5 years. Like I would say every 3 years, evaluate your career, evaluate where you're at, evaluate if you like what you do, if it brings you fulfillment, right? If you enjoy your career. Because in my case, right, like I started as a QA engineer and I was building test automation and I enjoyed it, right? And when I start doing mobile test automation for iOS, that brought me a lot of inspiration and a lot like I love doing that. But I had to do like career evaluation for myself. Like yes, I like it, but like what the future holds for me, where I'm going to be next, because it's important to think where you're going to be next and what your next steps. So this is why career evaluation every 3 years, it's important. It's important to sit down with yourself. Like you don't have to do it with a manager, like because you are your own CEO, you are your own manager. Sit down and really um, make analysis. Like, do I like what I do? And where do I go from there? And also, is technology that I'm working with is still relevant? Or do I need to brush up my skill set on in my industry, in my specialty? Like, let me give you an iOS example, right? I'm a senior iOS developer. So in iOS, right, about like 3 years ago or so, the new framework dropped from Apple, Swift UI, and a lot of improvements dropped since then too. So I had to do I jumped on Swift UI right away, but also as a developer, it's important for me to pause and evaluate what is important moving forward for my industry. Am I focusing on the right technology? Am I focusing on the right thing? So, and if I'm not, if I'm lacking or if I'm behind, right? Like I need to get up to speed and I need to know what to get up to speed with, because this like technology, it is such a field. It's an amazing field when we're learning all the time, right? And this is also something that I teach my students how to learn efficiently, because you don't need to learn everything, right? Like you don't need to study your tutorial cover to cover, right? You need to identify your gaps and learn what you are missing, like close that gap. Like it's important to start closing your knowledge gaps effectively, efficiently, and fast. So like that is what really important. So technology that don't matter, like that's like that, or technology that don't inspire you, or like becoming obsolete, or when the technology that tech is trying to move from. So I'm not saying that you should jump on every shining thing. I'm saying that you should focus, you should follow the tech. So uh two things we talked about: um algorithms and data structures, lead code questions. And when it comes to lead code questions, you shouldn't focus on memorizing the solution. You should focus on how to think and run technology, right? Either run technology for you or run technology for the industry. So before I get going, do you have any questions? I have a little bit more time for Q&A. So if you have questions, please drop them in the comment section, and I will do my best to answer them. Also, if you're watching on the replay, I encourage you to drop your questions in the comments as well. I will answer them in my best ability. So, but also, I would like to invite you to my career legacy program for software developers. So, what you can do, you can go to my bio, and there's a link where you can schedule a mini coaching session with me and see like if it's the right fit for you. It will also, you can send me a DM if you have more questions about the program, but the link is in my bio. The link is in my bio. So, this is it. Keep your question. If you have questions, definitely post them. I'm wrapping up, so like if I don't see any questions as I'm wrapping up, I'm just gonna end it. And if I see comments or questions after, I will answer it. So, like, how do you best recommend building skills if you're not focusing on exercises? So, you like, I mean, you should do code exercises, right? Because when you do code exercises, right, you're not memorizing the solutions, you're practicing how to think, right? I would, like, personally, I would recommend focusing on your craft. What you do for the living comes first, right? Mobile, web, whatever it is, whatever your craft, whatever your specialty is, this is what you're going to do every day, day in and day out, right? After that, right? After that, it's important to focus on the fundamentals, of course. If you lack computer science fundamentals, right? Like, it's important to get up to speed with that. And when it comes to coding exercises, right? When it comes to coding exercises, is a practice how to think. And also, I'm going to talk about it next week. But solving coding challenges and being good at algorithms and data structures is not the only key to landing like successful jobs, right? Like, I'm gonna tell you a secret, right? I'm not as good at algorithms and data structures. This is not my strongest suit, but I landed really good jobs and really good projects because of my knowledge and because of my skill set of my craft, your specialty comes first, and then algorithm and data structures. It's just like, it's just the exercise, right? When you keep practicing that muscle, how to think, not memorizing the solution. Because like when it comes to the coding interview, the actual coding interview, like you're not going to remember correctly the solution, and it's gonna like it's gonna throw you off. It's going to throw you off. So uh yeah, that like let me know if it makes sense. Like, yes, coding exercises, but focus on your craft, focus on your actual skill set that you're going to do every day. And here's the thing: when you are solving a coding challenge, right, treat it as you are building an app, a web app or mobile app, or like whatever your specialty is. Like, break it down into small pieces, and break it down into small pieces and solve it piece by piece. That's the secret sauce to like coding challenges. So, with that being said, thank you for your question. Thank you for your participation, and thank you for being here on my live stream. It's really like I always like to see people in my live stream. I always like to see your participation. Also, um, uh, yeah, like that's all I have for today. Thank you so much, and I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to talk about how to establish that executive presence that we talk about on Tuesday. So like, stay tuned for tomorrow. And sorry, not tomorrow, Friday. So like, no stream tomorrow. Friday we're going to talk about executive presence. So with that being said, like, all right, thank you. Thank you for being here, Karen. I appreciate you. So, all right, I say a lot. I wrapped up probably like 5 times. So I will see you in the next video. Bye, y'all.